I say welcome once again to yet another part of my Microsoft Word introduction. Today we'll be taking still introduction to Microsoft Word. For those of you that have been following us from the beginning, thank you for subscribing to our channel, and we hope that you continue to like, share, subscribe, and also feel free to comment if you have any questions. We'll send a response if we can. We'll surely send a response if we find a comment. So today we'll be taking text and text formatting. For those that joined us on the previous video, we did an introduction to Microsoft Word, how to save from Microsoft Word, and also how to use some few features of Microsoft Word. So today we'll be working with text and text formatting. So what is text and text formatting? So basically we have text. Text is actually everything that comes from our computer keyboard. Mostly it's always grouped as alphabet and numbers. So text is basically alphabets and numbers. So text is basically alphabets and numbers. So when it comes to text formatting, how do you actually know what it means to format text? So text formatting is simply the adjustment or editing of text size and appearance. So this may also include some few features such as size, color, and in this particular case we'll be adding some also few things like line spacing, paragraph spacing. So those few features is what we'll also be adding. So let's just jump right into it. So from those of you that watched our previous video on our basic introduction to Microsoft Word, you know we did some few explanations. So today we'll be touching a little on that basic. So text formatting. So let's just try some few things when it comes to text formatting. Let me just say we would learn a few basic formatting tools on Microsoft Office Word. So let's see, what are some few basic tools? Now if we notice our ribbon from the last class, we have some ribbons up here, and majorly we talked about the home ribbon. So this home ribbon is actually the only tool on Microsoft Word that is designed to make adjustments on text. Now take for example, let's pick just one first. So if you remember from the top here, we say the adjustment and editing of text size and appearance. So let's see one of how we can actually change the appearance of text. Now take for example, look at this text here. Let me do something. Let's do something. Now I'm selecting this my text here, and I'm using one of the two first, which is the copy tool. I'll be pressing enter and I'll be pasting. I want to have 2 and 3 copies of this particular text. Now let's try something. I'll be picking some few text on this. So let's try this one. I'll be highlighting this and I'll be applying 3 tools that are always taught together. So we have the bold. Now if you notice the difference between the first one and the second one, and if possible, the third one. For the actual part of this text that I applied a setting to in this particular case, the bold setting is a little more obvious than the other. So the bold setting increases, so to say, the thickness and appearance of a particular text you apply that particular setting to. Now, what happens when I apply italics to that same pattern, to that same text, italic? Now, you notice a slant change in that text. Then underline, which is actually something very everyone should know what I should do. You put a line under it. Now, three basic text formatting that many people are used to: the bold, italic, and underline. So now let's just push forward. Now let's go down. Let's paste that same text. Let's paste it again. So let's apply something else. Let me do something up here. Let's do something up here. Let me say using bold, italic, and underline. So let me just play around here so you can see what's happening. So I'm applying that same three feature to these three texts. So using bold, italic, and underline. So here we'll be saying applying font style. So let me bold that a little and let's push it down. Okay, applying font style. So let's see. I'd like us to apply, like, say, 4 different font styles. So what exactly is font style? I like explaining it this way. Let's say there are 5 individuals and they are asked to write this same text I have on my screen here. What is the possibility that the 4 of them handwriting would look exactly the same as I have here? Well, it's actually not possible. There will always be a difference in each of them's handwriting. But here, when it comes to font style is simply the writing style of any text. So we'll be applying some few font style to see how font style can actually work. The font style we're talking about is here. Let me use my keyboard to show you where my mouse is, so you see that is where our font style is. So we'll be adding 4 font style. So specifically I'll be adding, let me just give you the font styles I'll be adding so you can follow along. I'll open a bracket in front here and I'll be doing, let's see, I'll be starting with Times New Roman, which is one of the most common font style, and the second one I'll be putting I'll be adding Bookman Old Style. Then let me see, let's add some of these script fonts. I call them fancy fonts. Monotype Cursiva. Then the last one for this particular video I'll just picking 4, so I'll be picking something, say, consolas. So these are just some font style I'll be applying to. Now the idea here is to want to see what makes them different from each other. So let's jump right into it. So the same thing applies. We'll select our text. I'm using my mouse to drag over this text. We'll select our text and we'll jump right here. But then I always tell my student to do something. So if you know you don't want to come here, so I'll be coming here first to pick, then I'll show you something else. Let's say Times New Roman, right? In alphabetical order. The stress of scrolling is very hard. But then just come here and just go TIMES. That takes you straight to your T and Times New Roman. Now let's just look at it briefly. What changes appear to our text here? I'll try and go as close as possible, and let's see. Voila, that's how close I can go. So what are we looking at? Let's look at our W here. You see the difference in the W? Look at this W. It's a little straight edge. Let's just say it's going straight, 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 straight. But here, look at this. There's a sharp design on this W here. So you can notice the change. Let's see the A. Look at the A. So you can take note of that change. So we see our font style is actually changing the appearance of the text. So to say, the writing style of this particular text. So let's apply the rest. So like I said, I'll show you something. If you're applying a font style, like for those that have been using it for some time, it should it's an advice to actually know some few font style you have been using. So the next time you know, you just simply just type them, and instead of scrolling and searching randomly for something that you like, every time you know a font style you have used and you like that suits a particular document you are preparing, learn to master that font style. So but then we'll be trying something else to change the next font style. Now you could come here, this part you have font, this particular section font. Now if you hit this small dialog box here, it takes you somewhere and brings you to this tab. Now why am I bringing you here? Because of this preview. Sometimes you can choose to see the preview of your font before you're actually making it. It actually happens when you're doing that also too, but I enjoy this one much when I'm looking for a new font that I'm using, that I would like to use for a design. So let me see, we are going for Bookman Roster, right? So let's go Bookman, Bookman. Yeah, Bookman Roster. So you see, and then I hit OK. Sorry, we did not highlight. So let's highlight again. My mind skipped that. So let's go Bookman Road Style, and there we go. So yeah, that's it. So Bookman Road Style. So Bookman Road Style is a font that is a little bigger. If you notice the top here, which says 11, which is the font size. If I click on this, still the same 11. But this is Times New Roman and this is Bookman Road. So Bookman Road is kind of similar to the Times New Roman in some few way, but it has a little busty appearance, which means naturally it's much more bigger, a little bigger than the Times New Roman. So let's keep up. Let's highlight the third one. Remember to make any changes on this your home. If you have to use any tool on your home ribbon, the rule of highlighting is very important. So you highlight first before you apply any tool from the home ribbon. So remember, we're going for the tab also. We're going for monotype cursiva. So MONOTY, monotype cursiva. Voila. So you see, this is a little fancy font. I love this font sometimes. And let's go for the last one, which is Consolas. So I'll be taking this style again, Consolas, and there we go. So now, all I've just done now is few font styles. We have changed the writing style of these few fonts, we have few text we add here. So if you notice, they are the same content, the same words, same sentence, same size, but then the appearance looks different. Sometimes you don't look at this, you think they are different different sentences here, but they are all the same. So the changes we have done here is actually the font style. So depending on what you're actually preparing, fonts are good sometimes. I take for example, in my country here, most of the letters coming or going into any government office, they mostly use the Times New Roman. So choice will determine which font to use. Sometimes some people will be preparing some documents that deals with numbers. There's one particular font I use a lot when it comes to working with numbers. I think it's TW10MC. So this font is actually very pretty when it comes to numbers. Let's see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. So you see, when it comes to numbers, it's much more clearer. Unlike if I'm using something different, let me see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And let's say I use, let me use times New Roman for this. Let's use times New Roman for this. So you see, so some fonts are they actually have a more different appearance when it comes to number. Let's try the number for this one and let's see how it will look like, whether it's going to be awful or not. Interesting. So fonts are much more different when it comes to numbers. So using fonts and the choice of fonts you use is always very, very important when working on your document. So now we have seen how to change our font style. So let's move to something else. This time let's go for font size. So we're using something shorter so that when we increase the size we don't go too much. So I am in size. So let me just drop that there. You know why I'm doing that. So let me just do this. I am in size 12 and I'll copy this, Ctrl C, going up, Ctrl V, Ctrl V, Ctrl V. So now this one says I'm in size 12. Let me do this size 13. Let me do this size 14 and let's say size 16. Let's jump up a little bit. Let's say I am in size 20. So let's see that. So I made reference to the font size previously. So let's try that again. So this one says I'm in size 12. So I go there, I type 12. So I'm in size 12. So we have gone a little bit up. Let me put that 11 there. So I am in size 11. We know this is actually the default size. So we are going up again, size 12, and here is size 13. Now size 13 is not here, so same thing I did is I go there and just put in that size 13. So same thing, size 14, and we go up again, size 16. Now I want you to notice something as I want to increase the size of this one. There is this particular guy here, increase font. I believe this increase font by 2. Yeah. Okay, yes, increases by 2. 16, 16. If I hit it again, it goes 18. I hit it again, it goes 20. The same thing if I use a shrink font, decrease font, it does the same thing by 2. So let's leave it on 20. So you see it. So now this is the font size that we have seen, increasing our font size and decreasing font size. So the default font size came with size 11, and this is 12, 13, 14, 16, and 20. So I think most times I think this one can be mostly used for headings, and sometimes used for sub headings, and can be used for the body of a document. So choices of font size varies, but by default, so you don't have too big or too small. I think sometimes many people use the size 12, but the problem with size 12 is when you use a size 12 font, you come to realize that the text is too small for some readers. Some people find it difficult to read the content of size 12. That also depends on the font style you are using. Say you are using something like monotype cursive here, you are using size 12. It looks a little smaller. If you are using bookman row style, you are using size 12. It's still not bad. It's still not okay. So it becomes big. So the choice of font for your document creation is also very, very important. So thinking about your font style and the font size you'll be using is always very, very important. So that covers the font size. So now comes to two other things. We'll be adding something. Let me add something here. Let's add, say, alignment, and yeah, let's just leave it in alignment. So we're talking about three things together. I'm talking about three things together. So let me see. Let's go zoom out a little. So I'll be dropping this font back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so let's leave it on 13. Let's zoom in a little bit so I have the width of my page. Okay, so let's say alignment. So basically we have 4 different alignments. So we have the left alignment, the right alignment. Now why am I just doing that? Let's just say left, right, center, and justify alignment. So what exactly is the purpose of alignment? People might say, I don't need alignment, I can just type my text and I'm okay. Yeah, we need it. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to find out why we need alignment. Now, if you know from our previous class, we talked about our page, the whole full page. And the full page literally has 4 different margins around the page, which is the top margin, which is this blue place indicating that there's a space here. You can see my text is not actually crossing that. And we have the bottom margin also. Go down there, I hold the center part where there is 2 color of the ruler. You see there's a line there, and I have the left margin, I have the right margin. So we knew that there are 4 margins on our page, and that 4 margins at the end of the day creates kind of like a space inside where we can work on. Have at the back of your mind that the text are actually not crossing. So this is the margin area, the 4 sides of the page. So knowing that we have 4 margins now helps us to understand what alignment works for. So let me see if I can just create text that can occupy the full length of my page. Let's just say the reason for learning Microsoft Office Word is to know how to work with text and range of various types of document for personal and official use. So I have a text here. Now, if you notice, you see this text? It's not touching, right? Now, this is where our alignment comes in. Now, we know we have our margins. Our alignment help us to straighten. Let me use the word straighten first. You understand why. The meaning of alignment is to put in line. Say I have 4 boxes. When I put them in line, they can either be in line on the left, the right. If they are not of the same size though, I can align one side to be in line, one side. They are all on a straight line. So for text, alignment works that way, but then makes use of basically two different margins, which is the left and the right margin. So why are we talking about that? Let's do something. Let's say left alignment. So this particular text here, if we notice our left margin, let me just try and hold that guy down. Yeah, my hand is misbehaving. So you see, on the left side, we have all the text aligned on the left margin. They are all touching the left margin, but for the right side, no, they are not, right? So let's try something. Let me say I duplicate our text here now, and we'll apply the right alignment. So let me paste. Let me say right alignment, right? RGHT. So by default, the alignment selected, this is where we are. We have the align left, align center, align right, and justify. By default, your align left is always selected. That's why you have most of your text making sure they are straight on the left hand side. Now what happens when I do right? So I highlight everything and I go right alignment. Right alignment is the third one. So I go right alignment. Now, unlike the left alignment, which is actually straight on the left margin, now this one does the opposite, is straight on the right margin, right? So you see it. So let me add something. Let's add something here. And with the skills achieved from text and text formatting, any individual can work in an official setting as a secretary or even more better as a personal assistant. So I'm actually increasing the content of the text. You understand why I'm doing that? So let me just do copy. Let me just do paste, and let's just change that GHT, and let's just change it back to right alignment. So let's keep up. So now we're adding another alignment. So let's go and paste. This time let's add the justify alignment. Now what makes the justify alignment different? We say the right alignment is straight on the right margin, right, of our page. The left alignment, left of our page. Now what about justify? Justify will make sure your text content, no matter how short they are, if you remember, because this next text here, which is the word arrangement, cannot fit into this space that's left here, is forced down to the next line. That leaves us with a space right here. So the justify alignment will force the text to occupy, which means when this one goes down, it forces all these ones to take the whole space. So one way or the other is going to like increase the spaces in between them. So let's do justify alignment. So you see, we have the and, so it is actually increasing the spaces in between them to make sure they occupy the full length of your space after we remove the left and right margin space too. So let me change this to left alignment. Yeah, so let's just only change this particular content here to justify. I don't want it acting all weird. Okay, I know what to do. I'll just hit enter, and that's balances it up. So now in this case, what we're saying is the justify alignment will keep everything, making sure they are aligned on both the right margin and the left margin. So that helps us see that justify alignment literally just takes the the ability of both the left and the right alignment and combines them together. So if you are working with, say, a project work or any document that takes more text, so to say, maybe you're writing a project or you're writing a novel or a book, justify alignment works well for you. So it makes your work much more neat. You can try using text as much and see the difference when you're on left alignment and justify. You see a complete difference. One will have a much more acceptable appearance, while the other will look kind of rough. So justify alignment helps you straight both. So then that leaves us to one more alignment. That should be the center alignment, CNTR. Now the center alignment, like I said from before, I said basically we are making use of two alignments, right? Which is the left and the right. But this time the center, two margins. This time the center alignment will actually hit everything at the center. So it takes it to the center of the page. So it neither is interested in aligning it on the right nor on the left, but it's making sure all text retains in the center. So we were explaining these guys, right? This center alignment most of the time can be used for your topic or your heading that you want to put in the middle, depending on what you are preparing. Though sometimes, like you're preparing a letter, you don't need to put it in the center. Most of the time, it's on the left alignment, the heading or the text. So sometimes you want to put a topic at the center. Your center alignment, no matter how wide your page is, either you are on say landscape or portrait, it still retains you to the center of the page. So irrespective of the alignment you use, it retains each of the alignments you use and respects them to center, right, left. So no matter how wide your page is, the alignment will automatically reassign your text back to the center of the page. So let's go back to our portrait. Yeah, that's it. So now that leaves us to two things now. That would be our line spacing and paragraph spacing. Now, what is line spacing and paragraph spacing? So let me just go to the next page, Control and Enter. So let me just dump this text here. Let's take this guy off. I won't be needing them here. So we're talking about line and paragraph spacing. So line spacing and paragraph spacing, what is it literally all about? So let's put this. Let me duplicate this with making use of this down here. And yeah, so we see this text that is taking this full line, right? Now this is seen as a line of text. Now but then this whole section here is seen as a paragraph. Why do we call it a paragraph? Well, in Microsoft Word, every time you hit enter, you end up creating a paragraph, even if it's just one text. Let me hit a button. Now you see this button here, show or hide paragraph. Let me hit it. Now everywhere I hit enter, I get a paragraph. So to say, if I scroll up, you see everywhere I hit enter, I get a paragraph. Everywhere I hit enter, I get a paragraph. Now, but for these guys, you see, it's literally telling me I hit enter after this part. So that makes this whole section a complete paragraph. So let's deactivate that and let's go. So line spacing and paragraph spacing. So if one line from the beginning to the end of the page, from left to right, is a line of text, that means I have one line of text, I have two, I have three, I have four lines of text. So when we talk about line spacing tells, so line spacing is the space between lines of text. So you see it, while paragraph spacing is the space before and after a paragraph. So I believe that's much explanation. So now let's try line spacing first. So there are different line spacing. The space between the lines of text will always be different. Now let me do something so you can see. So if you see when I highlight this, try to take and pay attention to this my highlighting. You will notice there is an actual space here, as if something is here, right? Yes, this is actually the action of your paragraph spacing. There's a space under the paragraph. That's what it's telling us here. Well, we'll come to that. For now, we're working with line spacing. So now, previously we were working in this section. Now we're coming to this section, paragraph. So let me just take it from here. Line and paragraph spacing. These will have those two settings. So let's go and say, let's pick 1. It's not too obvious, right? Okay, let's come back to this one and let's pick something a little bigger. Let's say 2. Now it's obvious. So you see, this is having a 1 point, while this is having 2 point paragraph spacing, line spacing, sorry. So the space in between the lines of text, as explained before, has been increased. Let's drop it down a little bit. This looks abnormal. So, like I always say, depending on the kind of document you are creating or the type of document you are creating, the purpose of the document, you may choose the spacing you'll be using on your text. So that is for your line spacing. It's you either increase or decrease the space between the lines of text. Now, what about the paragraph spacing? So for that, I'll be going somewhere else. Same place, but then the dialog box here. So it's going to pop up a setting, which is the paragraph setting. Now try to notice, previously I said there's a space down here, right? Now look at this number here. We have 8 pt, that is 8 points. Now that is what is appearing there. Now let me try and do this back to 0 and I'll hit OK. So you see, that guy is gone. Now let's go back there. Let's say I jump this one to say, let's leave it on 6. Hold on. So now I jump it to 6, right? So let's see if it's actually there. Okay, I think it's increasing it, but my highlighting is not actually showing. Let's take, I always find it difficult to use the space before paragraph. It doesn't really try to work sometimes. So let me just now it's working. So I had to remove the line spacing completely and add that 6. Let me see if I can push it up a little bit. Yeah, so you see, that's the space before the paragraph. So you can actually create I actually don't use this though, but in case you just want to have less stress, most common people make use of the space after paragraph instead of space before paragraph. So this paragraph decides the gap between here and the next one. So most people are always bent on using the space after paragraph. So I think if I set that to 6, it's mostly common people make use of space after paragraph, but for me I prefer just using my enter to space there. But that's the space after paragraph. It's a paragraph, so the space before and after the paragraph is what we refer to as paragraph spacing. So that does it for our lesson for today. So today we really talked about text and text formatting. We talked about how to change size. We changed our size to various sizes to see how it looks different when changing size. We talked about one thing is missing. Let's just say font. I almost forgot that. Color. Color. So we'll not be going too far. We'll not be going too far to work on that color, so I don't have to forget. So let me see. Color, right? Color should be after this guy here. So let's see font, color. So let me go. Let's say this is black, this is blue, this is red, this is green. Okay, so I'm not I think I have one. Personally, I have one disadvantage. I'm not good with color, so I choose to put blue here. Any blue I pick, just take it like that. Don't cast me. Blue is blue. I see blue as anything. I can say light blue. You know, some people say coral and all that. I'm not good at that. So black is black, right? Black is black. So let's see. Remember, whatever changes you want to make to your text from your home, always highlight. So this is our color guy. So hit the color. We're going for blue, right? I hope you're going for this. I like it because it's navy blue, dark blue. Oh, they say dark blue. Nice. I'm picking the blue. Now is it making changes? Let's find out. Let's find out. Let's see. Yeah, there is changes. There is changes. Let me go closer. So if you can't see the changes, you change your system and see how it looks like. So there is changes, right? So that's black. And let's go for red. We're highlighting. We're going there. We're picking red. And let's go for green. We're highlighting. We're going there. We're picking. Let me see. Let me pick something lighter. Okay, so that's your font color. So we talked about font. So I believe this is font style, while this is font size, while this is font color. Talk about our font style, which we'll explain is, so to say, the writing style. Talk about our font color, which is changing the color of text. Font size, making it bigger, smaller. Then alignment, aligning your text on either side of the margin, be it the left or the right margin. Then we'll talk about paragraph and line spacing. So that's everything we will be taking on our introduction to Microsoft Office Word, text and text formatting. So once again, my name is Edward Jacob. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe to our videos so that we can keep making more of this for free. So thank you again. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. See you on the next video.